David had been gone for 2 weeks when the next bomb dropped, a legal filing, delivered by courier to each of our addresses, certified mail, official court documents with case numbers and filing stamps and all the terrifying formality of actual litigation. I opened mine standing in my apartment hallway, still holding my keys, briefcase in the other hand. The header, David Chen v. Martin Schaffer, as trustee of the Richard Chen Family Trust et al. David was suing, not just Martin, not just the trust, all of us, et al. That meant everyone. The complaint was 47 pages, single-spaced, dense legal language drafted by expensive attorneys who knew exactly what they were doing. I skimmed the introduction, then sat down on my floor, literally sat down right there in my hallway, and read the whole thing word by word. Plaintiff David Chen hereby alleges that the administration of the Richard Chen Family Trust has been characterised by systematic bias, procedural irregularities, discriminatory treatment, and failure of fiduciary duty. Specifically, plaintiff alleges that trustee Martin Schaffer has failed to execute his duties impartially, has allowed certain heirs to exert undue influence over distribution decisions, and has created a hostile environment that amounts to constructive exclusion. Plaintiff further alleges that the objection process has been weaponised by certain family members to discriminate against plaintiff specifically, creating disparate treatment that violates both the trust documents and general principles of equity. It went on and on, documenting every request David had submitted, every objection we'd filed, every denial he'd received, comparing his treatment to everyone else's, showing convincingly, professionally, devastatingly, that we'd been harder on him than on anyone else, that his business request was denied while Linda's business investment was approved, that his mental health request was reduced while my mortgage was approved in full, that he'd been systematically shut out while others were systematically approved. The complaint requested 1, court supervision of all future distributions, 2, reversal of prior discriminatory denials and retroactive approval of David's initial requests, 3, compensatory damages for emotional distress caused by discriminatory treatment, 4, freezing of all future distributions pending judicial review, 5, removal of Martin as trustee and appointment of neutral third party. But here's what made it brilliant, what made it dangerous. David wasn't challenging the validity of the trust itself like Richard Jr. had tried. He wasn't arguing Grandpa was incompetent or the structure was illegal. He was arguing the administration was biased, that Martin had failed as fiduciary, that we'd colluded to discriminate. That was much harder to defend because it was true. We had been harder on David, had applied different standards, had let our judgment of his failures influence our evaluation of his requests. And if a court agreed, if they froze distributions pending investigation, we could be looking at years of litigation, years of legal fees, years of nothing happening while lawyers argued and judges deliberated and everything stayed locked. My phone started ringing immediately. Richard Jr. called 3 times before I answered. Have you seen it? The filing? Yes. Emergency family meeting. Tonight, my place, 6 p.m. Everyone needs to be there. David's gone. He signed releases. He gave up his claims. How is he even? The releases covered future distributions, not past alleged misconduct. His lawyers found the loophole. He can't demand more money going forward, but he can argue he was wronged in the past and deserves compensation for that. It's fucking brilliant, actually. Infuriating, but brilliant. What do? We settle. We have to settle. If this goes to court, if distributions get frozen, we're all fucked. We need to offer him something to drop the suit. The meeting that night was tense, hostile, everyone on edge. We gathered at Richard's Tribeca penthouse, the one he was over-leveraged on, the one that was slowly bankrupting him, and sat around his dining table like a board of directors facing a hostile takeover. Linda was furious. He signed releases. He took $15 million and agreed to go away. How is he doing this? The releases were narrowly written, Richard explained. He'd already consulted his firm's litigation team. They cover future distribution claims, but they don't cover allegations of past misconduct. David's lawyers are arguing that before he signed those releases, he was subjected to discriminatory treatment that warrants compensation. The releases don't prevent him from seeking that compensation. So we paid him $15 million and he's still suing us? Jennifer asked. Essentially, yes. That's fraud? It's not fraud, I interrupted. Lawyer voice. Professional voice. It's good lawyering. David's lawyers read the releases, found the gap and exploited it. This is sophisticated legal work. This is expensive legal work, which means David is either spending a chunk of his $15 million on this lawsuit or what? Richard asked. Or he's found attorneys working on contingency, which means they think they can win, which means we have a real problem. Silence as that sank in. If David's lawyers were working for a percentage of the settlement or judgment, they'd done their analysis, calculated their odds, concluded this was winnable. That made it exponentially more dangerous. What's he actually want? Mum asked quietly. She'd barely spoken since arriving, looked smaller somehow, defeated. The complaint requests court supervision and compensatory damages, Richard said. But that's just positioning. What he really wants is settlement. He's forcing us to negotiate, to pay him more money to make this go away. How much more? Unknown, but probably significant. He's already got $15 million. If he's suing for more, he's thinking at least another 10, maybe 20. We're not paying him another $20 million, Linda said. Absolutely not. He took 15 and left. That was the deal. The deal had a loophole, Richard said patiently. He's exploiting it. Welcome to litigation. So what do you recommend? I asked. Settlement as fast as possible before this gets traction, before a judge actually reviews the complaint and decides there's merit, before distributions get frozen. We offer him something, not 20 million, but something, and make this disappear. And if he says no, then we defend. We hire lawyers, we fight, and we spend the next 2 years in court while the trust sits frozen and nobody gets anything, and we all pay legal fees that eat into whatever we might eventually receive. Mum stood up. I'm not doing this. I'm not participating in legal warfare against my son. I'm not negotiating how much money we'll pay him to drop accusations that are probably true. We were biased against him. We did treat him differently. He's right, and I won't be part of fighting him on it. She walked out, just left, and we sat there realising she was done, completely done, not just with the trust, with US, with the family that had turned into this. We need to decide, Richard said after a long silence. Offer settlement or prepare for litigation. Vote. What are we offering? Jennifer asked. 10 million, Richard said. On top of the 15 he already received. Total payout of 25 million, which was his original request. We're basically saying, you were right, here's what you should have gotten initially. Now drop the lawsuit and go away for real this time. I vote yes, Richard said. 10 million to make this go away is cheap compared to litigation costs and frozen distributions. I vote yes, I said, for the same reason. This is damage control. This is cutting our losses. I vote yes, Jennifer said, but I'm not happy about it. David is proving that threatening and suing is more effective than participating honestly. That's a terrible lesson. Michael, I abstain. I'm too exhausted to evaluate this anymore. Linda, I vote no. We already paid him once. I'm not paying him again because he found a loophole. Fuck him. Let's fight. 3 yes, 1 no, 1 abstention. But we needed to think bigger. We need Mum's vote, I said. This affects her too, and she just walked out. She already said she won't participate in legal warfare against David, Jennifer said. That's effectively a yes, vote for settlement. That's not how voting works. It is now, Richard interrupted. Emma's right. We need consensus on this, even if Mum's consensus is passive. 4-1, we settle. Martin will reach out to David's lawyers with the offer. We drafted the settlement proposal that night, Richard and I working together, both lawyers, both understanding what we were doing. $10 million additional payment, complete and total release from David of all claims, past, present, future, mutual non-disparagement clause, confidentiality agreement. We were buying his silence as much as his absence. The response came in 48 hours. Counter offer, $15 million additional. My client acknowledges the settlement proposal and appreciates the good faith effort to resolve this matter. However, the initial offer of $10 million does not adequately compensate for the documented discriminatory treatment and emotional distress suffered. My client proposes $15 million additional payment, total distribution of $30 million, in exchange for complete release of all claims and withdrawal of current litigation. This is our final offer. Response required within 72 hours. Final offer. Take it or litigate. 15 million more. On top of the 15 he already had. Total payout of $30 million, $5 million more than his original controversial request. He'd played this perfectly. Asked for 25, got 15, sued for more, was about to get another 15, 30 million total, more than anyone, more than every other heir had received so far. He'd won through litigation and threats and strategic exploitation of loopholes. He'd fucking won. This is insane, Linda said when we reconvened. We're rewarding him for suing us, for breaking his agreement, for being hostile. We're avoiding litigation that could cost more than $15 million in legal fees and frozen assets, Richard countered. This is rational business decision-making. This is emotional blackmail. Call it whatever you want. I'm voting yes. 15 million to make this end. I voted yes. Jennifer voted yes reluctantly. Michael abstained. Linda voted no. But this time we didn't wait for Mum. Didn't ask her opinion. Didn't give her the chance to participate. We just decided 4 votes, counting Michael's abstention as passive approval versus 1. Passed. Martin processed the settlement within a week. David received $15 million additional. Signed releases that were airtight this time, drafted by Richard's firm, reviewed by outside counsel, locked down every possible loophole, agreed to drop all litigation. agreed to confidentiality, agreed to never, ever, ever come back for more. Total payout to David, $30 million for being difficult, for threatening, for suing, for exploiting loopholes, for being the problem. We'd paid him $30 million to go away, and the message was clear. Being difficult pays better than being cooperative. Being hostile pays better than being kind. Threatening pays better than participating. David had taught us all a lesson, maybe the most important lesson of the entire trust process. Nice guys finish with less money. The trust balance, $441.6 million remaining. 5 heirs, me, Richard Jr., Linda, Jennifer, Michael. Mum was technically still an heir but had withdrawn from participation. 6 months left. We'd distributed $58.4 million so far, which meant $441.6 million remained to be fought over. And we'd just demonstrated that the most aggressive strategy, threaten, sue, demand, was the most profitable. That was going to change everything. Linda submitted within days of David's settlement. She'd learned, she'd watched, she'd studied her request, $30 million additional. I have observed that family members who are most assertive in their requests receive the highest distributions. David Chen received $30 million, total through combination of initial request and legal pressure. I'm requesting equivalent treatment. $30 million of additional distribution on top of my existing $6 million for a total of $36 million. Justification: equity demands equal treatment for equal family status. If David receives $30 million for withdrawal and litigation, I deserve equivalent compensation for remaining and participating. Discriminatory treatment to deny this request? It was naked, shameless, honest. She wasn't even pretending anymore, wasn't packaging it as need or investment or security, just David got $30 million, so I should too. Give me the same, or you're discriminating. The objections were immediate and furious. Richard, this is not how the trust works. Distributions are based on demonstrated need and merit, not on matching what others received through extraordinary circumstances. David's settlement was litigation resolution, not standard distribution. Deny. Jennifer. Linda is literally arguing she deserves $30 million because someone else got $30 million. This is absurd. This is not need-based. This is not merit-based. This is just greed. Absolute deny. Michael abstained, as always. I wrote a 10-page objection, detailed, comprehensive, destroying Linda's argument point by point, showing why David's situation was different, why litigation settlements weren't comparable to standard requests, why equity didn't mean everyone getting the same, regardless of circumstances. But I also knew it didn't matter. Because Linda had done something clever, she'd framed this as discrimination, and Martin was terrified of discrimination claims after David's lawsuit, terrified of being sued himself, terrified of more legal challenges. So he'd be inclined to approve something just to avoid more litigation, even if the argument was bullshit, even if Linda didn't deserve $30 million, even if this violated the entire spirit of the trust. He'd approve it because he was scared. Linda had weaponized David's success, turned his litigation into precedent, made being difficult look like strategy. The deliberation took 3 weeks. Martin consulted so many outside advisors, it became a joke. Estate attorneys, trust litigation specialists, discrimination law experts. He was covering his ASS, making sure whatever he decided couldn't come back to haunt him. His decision, partial approval, $20 million. Not the 30 Linda wanted, but way more than she deserved. The trustee acknowledges the applicant's concerns regarding equitable treatment. While direct comparison to litigation settlements is not appropriate, the applicant has raised valid points regarding relative distribution amounts. To maintain trust, administration equity, and avoid potential claims of discriminatory treatment, the trustee approves $20 million additional distribution. This brings the applicant's total to $26 million, which represents substantial security while remaining below amounts distributed. Through exceptional circumstances, further requests will be evaluated under heightened scrutiny standard. Linda took the $20 million immediately. No argument, no appeal, just took it and started spending. Within a month, she'd bought a $3 million apartment on the Upper East Side, brand new doorman building, city views. She'd bought a car, designer clothes, jewellery. She was hemorrhaging money, living like she'd won the lottery, like $26 million would last forever. It wouldn't. At her spending rate, she'd burn through it in 5 years, maybe less. But she'd gotten what she wanted, gotten more than she'd originally asked for in her first request, had played the game and won. The trust was now down to $421.6 million, 4 heirs actively participating. Me, Richard Jr., Jennifer, Michael, 4 months remaining. And we were approaching the end game, the final scramble, the last opportunity to maximise distributions before everything closed forever. Month 8 brought Jennifer's transformation. The woman who'd taken only $200,000 initially, who tried to be the good one, who'd asked for less than she needed because she didn't want to seem greedy, who judged everyone else for taking more than they deserved. She submitted a $75 million. I read the amount 3 times. 75 million had to be a typo, had to be a mistake. But no, $75 million. And her justification was devastating. I have spent 8 months watching this family destroy itself over money. I have watched Emma take $1.7 million for a mortgage she could afford, watched David take $30 million by threatening and suing, watched Linda take $26 million by crying discrimination, watched Richard build business empires with trust money, watched everyone take and grab and maximise while I tried to be good, tried to be modest, tried to take only what I needed. And where did it get me? I got $200,000, less than any of you, less than David's therapy, less than anyone except Michael, who deliberately asked for minimal amounts. I've learned my lesson. The trust doesn't reward humility. It rewards aggression. It rewards asking for more, demanding more, threatening for more. So I'm asking now, 75 million, enough to never work again, enough to focus entirely on raising Sarah, enough to give her every opportunity, enough to stop struggling every single day. I'm a single mother, making $58,000 annually in the most expensive city in America. I'm drowning. I've been drowning, but I tried to be noble about it. Tried not to burden the family with my needs. Tried to be better than all of you. But you know what? Being better got me nothing. Being worse, being selfish, being aggressive, being greedy, that's what gets rewarded here. So I'm done being good, I'm done being humble, I'm done taking scraps while you feast. Give me $75 million or watch me fight for every dollar remaining in this trust. I read it sitting in my office, door closed, and felt my stomach drop because Jennifer was right about all of it. She had been noble, had taken less, had tried to be good, and we'd let her, had let her sacrifice while we maximised, had let her daughter's future remain uncertain while we paid off mortgages and funded businesses and bought apartments. We'd rewarded selfishness and punished nobility, and now she'd learned, now she'd transformed, become what we'd taught her to be. The objections came fast. Richard Jr. 75 million is more than anyone has received through legitimate distribution, more than Linda's total, more than David's settlement, more than anyone. Jennifer is attempting to capitalise on being the good one for 8 months and now demanding the largest single payout. This is strategic positioning designed to guilt us into approval. I recommend $15 million maximum, enough for genuine security without excessive payout. Deny current amount. I stared at my screen trying to write an objection, trying to find the words to argue why Jennifer, single mother, social worker, genuinely struggling Jennifer, didn't deserve $75 million. And I couldn't do it, couldn't write the words, couldn't make the argument, because she did deserve it, more than I'd deserved my mortgage payoff, more than Linda deserved her $26 million, more than David deserved his $30 million. She actually genuinely deserved it. But $75 million was enormous, was more than half of what remained. Would leave maybe $40 million per person for the rest of us if we split what was left. I'd end up with less than Jennifer, less than the social worker, less than the person I'd looked down on at the beginning of this process. My competitive instinct screamed, object, reduce her, protect your share, maximise your payout, but something else, something small and quiet and almost dead, but not quite, whispered, let her have it. She earned it by being better than you, by remaining human while you became this. I submitted my vote, partial approval, $25 million recommended. Jennifer absolutely deserves more than her initial distribution. Her restraint throughout this process has been commendable and her needs are legitimate. However, $75 million exceeds reasonable proportional distribution, even accounting for delayed requesting. I recommend $25 million, which brings her total to $25.2 million, providing complete financial security and resources to support Sarah through adulthood while maintaining equity with overall distribution structure. I was still calculating, still strategizing, still trying to find the fair middle ground that let me look generous while protecting my interests, still being exactly what Grandpa predicted, still being exactly what Jennifer had accused me of being. Michael voted to approve, full amount, first strong opinion in months. Jennifer deserves more than she got, way more. Give her the $75 million. I don't care about my share anymore. I just want this to end. First time he'd actually taken a stand. First time he'd fought for something other than his own peace. Jennifer's message to the family after voting closed. I see Emma voted to cut my request by 2/3. I see Richard voted to cut it by 90%. I see Linda voted to deny entirely. Guess she doesn't want competition for highest payout status. I'm not surprised, not disappointed, just confirmed. You're exactly who I thought you were, exactly what this process revealed. Selfish, calculating, unable to support someone else's success if it means less for you. I hope you're proud of yourselves. I hope you sleep well knowing you nickel and dimed a single mother's request for security. I hope when you're counting your millions, you remember this moment. Remember that you chose to be these people. Jennifer. Martin deliberated for 2 weeks, consulted specialists, reviewed comparable distributions agonised over the decision. His ruling, $40 million approved. The applicant has demonstrated exceptional restraint throughout the trust period and has legitimate long-term security needs as a single parent, while $75 million exceeds comparable distributions. The applicants delayed requesting and modest initial distribution warrant special consideration. Approval of $40 million provides substantial security and recognises the applicant's contributions to family cohesion during an extremely difficult process. This brings the applicant's total distribution to 40 pies on $2 million. 40 million, more than anyone through legitimate request, less than David's litigation settlement, less than Linda's total, but substantial, real, life-changing. Jennifer took the money, sent one final message to the family. Sarah and I are leaving New York, moving somewhere we can actually breathe, somewhere that doesn't cost $4,000 a month for a one-bedroom apartment, somewhere that doesn't crush you for daring to be middle class, Vermont probably, maybe Maine, somewhere with trees and quiet and schools that don't cost more than college. I'll send a forwarding address, or maybe I won't. Haven't decided if I want this family to know where to find me. Take care of yourselves, since that's clearly all any of you know how to do. Jennifer. And she was gone. Another one. Another family member bought out, another relationship destroyed by money. The trust balance, $381.6 million remaining. 3 heirs. Me, Richard Jr., Michael. 3 months left. If we split equally right now, $127.2 million each. More money than any of us had dreamed of at the start. More than we needed, more than we could spend in a lifetime. But we weren't going to split equally. We were going to fight for every dollar, because that's what we'd become. That's what the trust had made us. That's what Grandpa had always known we were. The empire builder. Richard Jr. had been quiet for months, watching, learning, planning. He'd submitted his Hamptons house request early, denied, had objected to everyone else's requests strategically, had voted to approve David's buyout, Linda's discrimination claim, Jennifer's transformation, always calculating, always thinking 3 moves ahead, just like Grandpa had taught him, just like investment bankers do. And now, with 3 months left and $381.6 million on the table, he made his move, his real move, the one he'd been planning since the beginning, amount $150 million. I saw the number and actually laughed. Absurd, impossible, more than anyone had requested, more than the trust had left if we split 3 ways. He was asking for more than half of what remained. It was audacious, insane, brilliant. Purpose: expansion of Chen family office and comprehensive family legacy development. I remembered his earlier failed request, $5 million for a Hamptons house disguised as family infrastructure. This was that strategy, evolved, perfected, weaponized. His justification was 80 pages, single-space charts, graphs, financial projections, market analysis, letters of recommendation, testimonials from wealth management experts, case studies, comparisons, everything. It was a complete business proposal, a pitch deck, a prospectus. 6 months ago, it began, I established the Chen family office with $20 million in trust funding. That initial investment has generated substantial returns for all participating family members. Emma Chen's initial distribution of $1.7 million has grown to $1.91 million now, and 12.4% return. Jennifer Martinez's $200,000 has grown to $224,000. Michael Chen's $350,000 has grown to $392,000. These are real returns, documented returns, proof that professional family office management works. He'd included statements from all of us showing our account balances, showing the growth, using our money as evidence of his competence. The Chen family office currently manages $2.3 million in family assets. With proper capitalisation, it could manage exponentially more, could become a multi-generational wealth management platform, could serve not just our immediate family, but extended relations, future generations, and eventually external clients. I am requesting $150 million to expand the family office into a comprehensive wealth management firm. This includes office space and infrastructure, 15 metre, staff hiring and compensation, 25 years for 5 years, technology and systems, 10 investment capital for direct deals and opportunities, 75, operating reserve and contingency, 25 matters. He'd broken it down, made it look reasonable, made $150 million look like responsible business planning. This is not about personal enrichment. The family office will be structured as a family partnership. All heirs will hold equity. All heirs will benefit from its success. I'm not asking for $150 million for myself. I'm asking for investment capital to build something that serves all of us, that grows our collective wealth, that creates legacy beyond Grandpa's trust. It included projections, conservative, moderate and aggressive scenarios. Even the conservative projection showed the family office generating $5 million annually in revenue within 3 years. The moderate scenario, $15 million annually. Aggressive, $30 million annually. Returns that would dwarf our individual trust distributions, make us collectively richer than Grandpa had made us individually. But here's a critical point. His proposal continued, this isn't optional. This is necessary. Those of you who've received distributions, you now have significant capital that requires professional management. You can pay outside firms 1-2% annually for wealth management, or you can invest in our family office and pay that management fee to ourselves, keep the wealth in the family, build something that lasts beyond this trust, beyond this generation, build something real. The kicker came on page 73, testimonials from us, from me, quotes from emails I'd sent thanking Richard for growing my account. Jennifer's acknowledgement that the family office had performed well. Michael's satisfaction with the service. He'd weaponised our praise, turned our gratitude into endorsements, made us complicit in his request. And then the final pitch. I know $150 million sounds like a lot. I know it's more than anyone has requested, but consider the alternative. If we split the remaining $381.6 million 3 ways, we each get $127.2 million. You take your shares, invest them individually with outside firms, pay fees to strangers, generate average returns. And in 20 years, you've grown your wealth modestly, but you've built nothing, created nothing, left nothing beyond the money. Or we invest $150 million in the family office. I get that capital to build something real. You each still receive substantial distributions from the remaining $231.6 million, approximately $77 million each. Less than equal split, yes, but you also own equity in a wealth management firm that could be worth hundreds of millions within a decade. You trade immediate payout for long-term value. You trade individual wealth for collective legacy. This is the difference between inheriting money and inheriting an empire. Choose wisely. I read the entire proposal twice. First time, sceptical. This was Richard aggrandising himself, making his personal empire building look like family benefit. Second time, impressed, because he was right. His logic was sound. His numbers checked out. The family office had performed well. And $150 million to build a real wealth management firm wasn't actually excessive if you believe the projections, if you trusted Richard, if you thought this was genuine legacy building rather than personal enrichment disguised as family service. But did I trust Richard? Did I believe his motivations were pure? Did I think he was truly building for all of us rather than primarily for himself? I didn't know, couldn't tell. The trust had destroyed my ability to evaluate anyone's motives as anything other than strategic positioning. The objections came within hours. My objection, 15 pages this time, because Richard's proposal demanded comprehensive response. While the Chen family office has performed adequately, Richard Jr. is asking for more than double what anyone has received through any mechanism. He's asking for nearly half the remaining trust funds. His proposal relies on optimistic projections, unproven scaling assumptions, and the premise that building a family business is more valuable than direct distributions. I disagree. The trust purpose is to provide security for individual heirs, not to capitalise Richard's business ambitions. His request would leave Michael and me with approximately $77 million each, substantially less than equal split, while Richard controls $170 million total, $20 million of previous plus $150 million new. This is exactly the kind of inequitable distribution the trust should prevent. I recommend denial of the full amount. If family office expansion is genuinely valuable, approve $50 million maximum for operations. The remainder should be distributed equitably. Deny $150 million request. Michael didn't object, didn't approve, just abstained with a note. I'm too exhausted to evaluate an 80-page business proposal. Do whatever you think is best. I trust the process. I'm out. That was it. Michael was done, completely checked out, would take whatever he got and never think about it again, which left me as the only voice against Richard's empire. 1 vote against, 0 votes explicitly for, 1 abstention, and no other heirs to weigh in. They'd all been bought out or withdrawn. Martin had a problem. With only 3 active heirs left, there was no clear majority, no consensus mechanism. Just Emma says no. Michael says nothing. Richard obviously supports his own request. How do you adjudicate that? Martin took 6 weeks to deliberate, the longest evaluation yet. He consulted more outside experts than for any previous request, brought in business valuation specialists, wealth management consultants, trust litigation attorneys, family office industry experts. He was building a fortress of professional opinions to support whatever decision he made, protecting himself from future challenges, covering his ASS completely. During those 6 weeks, Richard didn't just wait passively, he campaigned, called me 3 times a week, sent supplementary materials, updated projections, new expert testimonials. He treated this like a startup raising capital, like I was a VC he needed to convince. Emma, think about this rationally, he said on one call. You could take your $127 million and invest it yourself. Get average returns, build individual wealth, fine, but in 20 years, you're just a rich person with a portfolio. Or you take less immediate capital but own part of something real, something that employs people, creates value, builds legacy. Your kids, if you have kids, would inherit not just money but an institution, something with their name on it, something that matters. I don't have kids, Richard. Not yet, but you might. And if you do, wouldn't you rather leave them a family business than just a trust fund? He was good, I had to give him that. He knew exactly which buttons to push. Legacy, family, meaning, all the things the trust had destroyed, he was offering to rebuild, but I couldn't shake the feeling that this was manipulation, that Richard was primarily building his empire and dressing it up as our benefit, that he'd control $170 million total, while Michael and I split $231,915.5 million each. He'd end up with the most by far, the winner of Grandpa's game, and he'd done it by being smarter than all of us, by thinking bigger, by turning the trust into a platform for his own ambitions. It was brilliant, infuriating, and probably exactly what Grandpa would have wanted, probably exactly what Grandpa would have done in Richard Jr.'s position. Maybe that's why it bothered me so much, because Richard Jr. was most like Grandpa, most willing to use people, most willing to position personal gain as collective benefit, most willing to win. Martin's decision came via certified letter delivered to each of our homes. Official, final, weighty. I opened mine standing in my kitchen on a Thursday morning, coffee going cold on the counter. After extensive consultation with industry experts, legal advisors, and financial consultants, the trustee has reached the following determination regarding Richard Chen Jr.'s request for $150 million to expand the Chen family office, approved with modifications. Total approved amount, $100 million. My stomach dropped. He'd approved it, not the full amount, but approved. Richard had won. The applicant has demonstrated sufficient competence in wealth management and has generated measurable returns for participating family members. The proposed expansion has merit and could provide long-term value to the family. However, $150 million exceeds reasonable business capitalisation needs. Approval of $100 million provides substantial resources for expansion while preserving equity among remaining heirs. Revised distribution structure. Richard Chen Jr. receives $100 million additional. Total distribution, $120 million. Remaining trust balance of $281.6 million will be divided among remaining active heirs based on future requests or final allocation at trust termination. This is the final major distribution before trust closure, $100 million to Richard. Total payout, $120 million, nearly 3 times what Jennifer got, 4 times what Linda got initially, 8 times what I'd gotten. He'd won, become the heir with the largest distribution by far, the undisputed winner of Grandpa's game, and he'd done it by being smartest, by thinking strategically, by building something that looked like family benefit, but primarily served his interests, by being exactly what Grandpa had been, brilliant, manipulative, and ultimately self-serving, dressed up as visionary. Richard sent an email within hours of Martin's decision. To my remaining family, Emma and Michael, I know this distribution feels large. I know it might feel unfair, but I promise you, this is the beginning of something important. The Chen family office will serve you well, will grow your money, will provide services worth far more than the capital invested. You're not just heirs anymore, you're shareholders, you're partners in building something that will outlast all of us. The money Grandpa left wasn't meant to be divided and spent. It was meant to be multiplied, to be grown, to become something bigger than any individual payout. That's what we're doing. That's what I'm building for all of us, for the family, for the legacy. Thank you for trusting me. Let's build something remarkable together. Richard. I read it and felt nothing. No anger, no resentment, just exhaustion, just the hollow awareness that Richard had played the game better than I had seen opportunities I'd missed, had thought bigger while I'd thought safer, had won while I'd merely survived. The trust balance was now $281.6 million, 2 heirs actively left, me and Michael, 2 months remaining. If we did nothing, if we submitted no more requests, that entire amount would go to charity. Grandpa's designated causes would get more than his entire family had received. Or we could request it, split it, take our shares, end this. I had 2 months to decide what kind of person I wanted to be, what kind of player I wanted to be in Grandpa's final game. 2 months to figure out if winning mattered more than who I'd become while winning. 2 months to choose Emma's breaking point. 2 months left. $281.6 million on the table. 2 heirs, me and Michael. And Michael sent me an email that changed everything. Subject line, let's end this. Body, Emma, I don't want more money. I have my loans paid off, $350K from early distribution. I have $392K in Richard's family office, growing at 12% annually. I'm making $245K as an attending surgeon. Now that residency's done, I don't need more, but you should take your share, request whatever you think is fair. I won't object, I won't fight. I'm just done. I'm tired of watching money destroy people I loved, destroy a family that used to mean something. So take what you want. Take all of it if that's what you need. I won't stop you. I won't judge you. I'll just be grateful when this ends, when we can maybe start rebuilding some of what we destroyed, if there's anything left to rebuild. Michael. I read it sitting at my desk at work. Read it 5 times. Michael was surrendering, giving up, letting me take whatever I wanted from the remaining $281.6 million. I could request $200 million, $250 million, all of it. He wouldn't object, wouldn't fight, would just let it happen. I'd finally, definitively win. End up with more than Richard, more than anyone. Prove I was the smartest, the most strategic, the best at playing Grandpa's game. All I had to do was submit the request, fill out the form, justify why I deserved $200+ million, and take it. Simple, easy, obvious. So why couldn't I type? Why was I sitting at my computer, cursor blinking in the request form, unable to make myself do it? I thought about Grandpa's letter, his predictions. You'll play the game better than anyone. You'll be strategic, careful. You'll submit reasonable requests that are hard to object to. You'll build alliances. You'll time your submissions perfectly. You'll study everyone else's behaviour and exploit their weaknesses. You'll win, or at least you'll think you're winning. But here's what you won't realise until it's too late. Winning this game means losing everything else. He'd been right about all of it. I had played strategically, had submitted carefully calculated requests, had objected to David's startup, to Mum's full retirement, to everyone who threatened my share, had voted to pay family members to leave rather than deal with their needs, had turned relationships into negotiations, had treated love as a transaction, had become exactly what he predicted, and now I had the chance to win completely, to take everything, to prove I was the best player, the most deserving heir, the winner. But what would I win? I'd destroyed my relationship with Jennifer. She'd moved to Vermont and maybe wouldn't send her address. I'd disappointed Mom. She'd moved to California to escape us. I'd hurt David, paid him to leave and never come back. I'd competed with Richard until he'd beaten me by being more ruthless. I'd ignored Michael until he'd checked out completely. I'd killed Sunday dinners, family gatherings, the ability to look at each other without calculating. I'd traded my family for money, and now I could have more money, so much more, all the money. But for what? To sit alone in my Brooklyn apartment with $200 million and no one who'd want to see me? To be the richest, most successful, most victorious member of a family that no longer existed? To prove Grandpa right one final time? I couldn't do it. Realised I couldn't. Sat at my computer for 3 hours trying to write the requests for $200 million and couldn't make the words come because I didn't want to be that person anymore. Didn't want to be the one who took everything, who maximised ruthlessly, who won at the cost of losing everything that mattered. I'd already become enough of that person, already crossed enough lines, already sacrificed enough of my soul for money I didn't need. I wasn't going to cross. The final line wasn't going to take everything and prove Grandpa absolutely definitively right about who I was, who I'd always been, who I'd always be. So I submitted a different request. Amount $10 million, not 200, not 100, not even 50, just 10. Bringing my total distribution to $11.7 million, less than everyone except Michael, less than 10% of what remained, less than I could have taken, less than I probably should have taken if I was still playing to win. But I wasn't playing to win anymore. I was playing to survive, to remain human, to keep some small piece of myself that wasn't entirely corrupted by this process. My justification: I am requesting $10 million to bring my total distribution to $11.7 million. This is less than 1/10 of what I could request, less than what the remaining trust balance would allow, less than what Michael has offered to let me take without objection. But it's enough. It's more than enough. It's more than I need, more than I deserve after what I've become during this process. I'm requesting that the remaining $271.6 million be distributed as follows. $50 million to Michael Chen, mandatory distribution regardless of his request, because he deserves it for surviving this with more humanity intact than any of us. $221.6 million to the charitable organisations Grandpa designated. Let some good come from this money. Let it help people who actually need it. Let it fund research and education and art and all the things Grandpa claimed to care about. Let it do something other than destroy families and corrupt people and prove that love is always conditional. I'm done. I'm requesting this and withdrawing. I'm out. Game over. I lose, or maybe I win. Can't tell anymore. Don't care anymore. Just want it to end. Emma Chen. I hit submit at 11:47 p.m. on a Tuesday, 2 months before the trust deadline, 2 months before everything would have closed anyway, and sent the remainder to charity. I could have waited, could have strategized, could have spent 2 more months figuring out how to maximize, but I wanted it over, wanted to stop being this person, wanted to stop calculating every conversation, every interaction, every relationship in terms of trust distributions and strategic advantage. My phone rang at midnight. Michael. Emma, what did you just do? His voice thick with emotion. Relief, Gratitude? Confusion? I gave up, I said simply, honestly. I stopped playing. I'm taking 10 million and walking away. You should take your 50. And the rest goes to charity, like it should have from the beginning. Why? Not arguing, just asking, trying to understand. Because I looked at myself, I said, voice shaking now, finally feeling something after months of numbness, really looked, and I didn't recognise the person I'd become, the person who objected to her brother's mental health treatment, who voted against her mother's retirement request, who called her cousins concerned for her daughter manipulation, who treated family like competitors and love like a negotiation. I didn't like her, that person, so I'm not being her anymore. You could have taken 200 million, Michael said quietly. I would have let you, wouldn't have stopped you, wouldn't have judged you. I know, that's what made it possible to stop, because you gave me permission to be as selfish as I wanted. And somehow that made me realise I didn't want to be selfish anymore, didn't want to win if winning meant being that person forever. Silence on the line. Then, Grandpa wanted us to compete, wanted us to fight, wanted us to reveal who we really are. You did. We all did. And now you're saying, what? That you regret it? That you wish you'd been different? No, I said, I don't regret knowing, I regret being that person. There's a difference. I needed to know what I was capable of, needed to see how selfish I could be, how calculating, how cold. But now that I know, I get to choose. Do I keep being that person, or do I try to be something else? Someone else? I'm choosing something else, even if it's too late. Even if the damage is done, I'm choosing to stop. I'm taking the 50 million, Michael said, not because I need it, I don't, but because you're right. Someone should benefit from this nightmare, and I'll use it better than Richard will. I'll use it to help people, medical scholarships for residents who are drowning in debt like I was, funding for free clinics, research for diseases that don't get enough attention because they're not profitable, something that matters, something that makes this whole experience mean something other than destruction. That's good, I said, meaning it. That's really good, Michael. Emma? Yeah? Thank you for stopping, for being the one who said enough. I couldn't do it, but I'm glad you did. We hung up, and I sat in my apartment, $11.7 million richer than I'd been a year ago, feeling empty, but also lighter, like I'd been carrying something enormously heavy and finally set it down, like I'd been running a race I didn't want to finish and finally stopped, like I'd been playing a character I hated and finally broke character. The trust would close in 2 months. Michael would get his $50 million, I'd get my $10 million, and $221.6 million would go to charity, to strangers, to causes Grandpa cared about more than he'd cared about us testing each other. Or maybe the causes were what he cared about. Maybe the test was secondary. Maybe he'd designed this, knowing most of the money would end up with charity, knowing we'd destroy ourselves fighting over the minority share, knowing he'd get the last laugh, proving families were conditional and funding the causes he actually valued, both outcomes simultaneously. Martin approved both final requests within 48 hours. No deliberation, no outside consultation, just approved, done, over. He sent a formal letter to all heirs, even the ones who'd left, who'd been bought out, who'd withdrawn. The Richard Chen Family Trust has completed its distribution period. Final accounting, total trust value $500,000. Total distributed to family, $278,400,000, 55.68%. Total distributed to designated charities, $221,600,000, 44.30%. Distribution by heir, Richard Chen Jr., $120,000, 24.0%. Michael Chen, $53,150,000, 10.0%. Jennifer Martinez, $4,200,000, 8.0%. Linda Chen, $36,000, 7.2%. David Chen, $30,000, 6.0%. Emma Chen, $11,700,000, 2.3%. Susan Chen, $5,000, 1.0%. The trust is now closed. All remaining obligations satisfied, all releases executed, all distributions complete. This officer's role as trustee has concluded. Thank you for your patience during this complex and difficult process. Martin Schaffer, trustee. That was it. 1 year. $278.4 million to family, $221.6 million to charity, and a family that would never recover, never be whole, never look at each other the same way. We'd proven Grandpa right about everything. Love was conditional, we'd put prices on it and negotiated. Family was transactional. We'd bought and sold each other's presents. Everyone had their price. We'd found every single one. Scarcity revealed character, and ours had been ugly, so ugly. 3 months after the trust closed, I got a letter from Mom. Handwritten, mailed from California, real paper, real stamp, real care in the act of writing it. I almost didn't open it, almost threw it away, but I couldn't. Had to know what she'd say, had to face whatever judgment or forgiveness or indifference she'd decided on. Emma, it began in her careful handwriting. I've been thinking about what to say to you, to all of you, my children, my family, the people I loved unconditionally for decades, and I realised I don't have words, I don't have wisdom, I just have grief for what we lost, for what we chose to lose, over money, over competition, over the need to win. Your grandfather was right about one thing. Love is conditional. I always said it wasn't, always insisted family meant unconditional support, unconditional acceptance, but he proved me wrong, proved that everyone has limits, everyone has prices, everyone has conditions under which they'll choose themselves over others. You did, David did, Linda did, even Jennifer, sweet Jennifer, who tried so hard to be good, eventually chose herself. And I don't blame any of you, I really don't, because I failed you first. I raised you in a family where love was conditional, where Richard's approval had to be earned, where success was valued over kindness, where winning mattered more than connecting. I created the environment where his game could work, where his predictions could come true. So this is my fault, all of it. I'm writing to say I forgive you for voting against my retirement, for making me feel like a burden, for choosing money over me. I forgive you because I understand, because I made you into people who would make those choices. But I also can't be around you anymore, can't do Sunday dinners knowing what I know, can't pretend we're a family when we're really just people who shared DNA and destroyed each other for money. So I'm staying here in California near Thomas Roberts' brother, who left the family years ago because he couldn't stand Richard's control. Turns out he was the smart one. He got out before it destroyed him. I'm getting out now. Better late than never. I love you, Emma. I'll always love you, but I can't be near you, can't watch you live with what you became, what we all became. Take care of yourself and try to be better than the person Grandpa's game revealed. That's all I can hope for all of you. Build something good with that money. Build something that matters. Build something that makes this worth it. because right now, it just feels like we destroyed a family for money we didn't need. And I can't think of anything sadder than that. I can't think of anything more wasteful, more tragic. Be better, Emma. Be better than what we were. That's my final request. Not as part of the trust, just as your mother. Be better. Please, Mom. I read it once, then folded it carefully, put it in a drawer, didn't cry, didn't call her, didn't try to fix it because she was right. We had destroyed something that couldn't be repaired, broken something that couldn't be fixed, and all the money in the world, all 11.7 million, couldn't buy back what we'd lost, couldn't resurrect the family we'd been, couldn't make Sunday dinners mean something again, couldn't make I love you sound true instead of strategic. We'd killed it, deliberately, consciously, for money, and now we had to live with that. Aftermath and reconstruction. 6 months after the trust closed, Richard Jr. sent an email to what remained of the family, which at this point was just me and Michael on active communication. Subject: Chen Family Office Update and Investment Opportunity. Professional, clinical, like we were clients instead of cousins. To Emma and Michael, the Chen Family Office has exceeded initial projections. We now manage $250 million in assets under management, including your distributions, my capital, and new external clients. First year revenue, $2.7 million. Net profit, $1.4 million. Your investment returns continue to outpace market averages. Emma's $1.7 million is now $2.1 NEM, 23.5% return over 18 months. Michael's $350K is now $445K, 27% return. These are real returns. Sustainable returns, proof of concept. I'm now offering equity positions to family members who want to invest additional capital. We're expanding to serve high net worth individuals beyond family. Opening offices in Miami and Los Angeles, building something real, something lasting, something bigger than Grandpa's trust. If you're interested in participating, either as investors, advisors, or partners, let me know. This could be the beginning of something important, something that redeems what we went through, that turns destruction into creation, that proves we can build something together even after everything that happened. Think about it. No pressure, but the opportunity is there if you want it. The family isn't dead unless we let it die. We can rebuild differently, better, more honestly, but we have to choose to try. Let me know. Richard. I deleted the email, didn't respond, didn't engage, didn't want to be part of whatever Richard was building, didn't want more money, didn't want to keep playing. Michael responded though, invested $5 million of his $50 million distribution, became a partner, joined Richard's board. They talk regularly now, I've heard, work together, build things. They're closer than they were before, united by business, by success, by winning. Good for them. Really, I mean that. They found something positive in the wreckage, found a way to move forward, found connection through commerce, if not through love. That's something more than I've managed. 1 year after the trust closed, I ran into Jennifer. Complete accident. Coffee shop in Brooklyn, Park Slope, upscale, expensive lattes. She was back in New York visiting Sarah's grandparents. I almost didn't recognise her. She looked different, lighter, younger somehow, less burdened. Emma, she said when our eyes met. Not warm, not cold, just acknowledgement. Jennifer. We stood there awkwardly for a moment. Two people who used to be family, used to have Sunday dinners together, used to share lives, now strangers connected only by shared trauma. How are you? I asked. Stupid question, meaningless question. But what else do you say? Good, she said. Really good, actually. We moved to Vermont, small town, bought a house, 3 bedrooms, big yard, cost less than a studio in Manhattan. Sarah's in public school, good school. She's happy, not competing with rich kids, not feeling less than, just being a kid. That's wonderful, I said, meaning it. I'm glad. And you? She asked. How are you? Fine, I lied. Standard lie, easy lie, the lie everyone tells when the truth is too complicated. I'm fine. She looked at me like she could see through it, like she knew. The money didn't fix anything, did it? She asked. Didn't make you happier, didn't make life better, just sits there, in accounts, growing, meaningless. No, I admitted, it didn't fix anything. Did you ever think about what we could have done differently? She asked. If we'd all just voted for equal distribution that first night, if we'd chosen family over competition, if we'd said no to Grandpa's game and yes to each other? Every day, I said, voice breaking, every single day. Me too, she said quietly. Me too. We finished our coffee in careful small talk, avoiding real topics, avoiding pain, pretending we were just acquaintances catching up rather than family members mourning what we'd destroyed. When we left, we hugged, awkward, stiff, careful. Take care of yourself, Emma, she said. Try to find some way to make it mean something. The money, the experience, all of it. Don't let it just be destruction. Make it teach you something. Make it make you better. Are you better? I asked. Are you different than you were? She thought about that. I don't know. I'm angrier, more cynical, less trusting, but I'm also clearer. I know what I value now, know what matters, know what I'm willing to sacrifice for and what I'm not. So maybe that's better, maybe that's growth, or maybe it's just damage I'm calling wisdom. Hard to tell. We haven't spoken since, but I think about that conversation, about her question, about whether I'm better or just broken differently. 2 years after the trust closed, I used some of my money to start a foundation, not a family office, not a business, a foundation for families going through estate disputes, for people fighting over inheritance, for siblings who are destroying each other over money. I fund mediators, therapists, counsellors. I create programs that teach people how to have difficult conversations about money and family, how to recognise when competition is becoming destruction, how to stop. Before you cross lines you can't uncross. The foundation is called Conditional Love Family Services. Ironic name, honest name. I help families avoid what we became, show them our story anonymously, carefully, as a warning. Say, this is what happens when you let money define relationships, when you treat love as transactional, when you forget that some things are worth more than maximising your payout. Some listen, some don't, most don't, because when you're in it, when you're calculating and competing and convinced your needs are more legitimate than everyone else's, you can't see what you're becoming, can't recognise the damage you're doing. You only see it afterward, when it's too late, when the money's distributed and the family's destroyed and you're left with accounts full of cash and hearts full of regret. But some do listen. Some families stop. Choose connection over competition. Choose fairness over advantage. Choose family over winning. Those are the ones that make it worthwhile. Make the foundation worth running. Make my $11.7 million worth having, because at least some good comes from it. At least something survived Grandpa's game, besides broken relationships and guilt. 3 years after the trust closed, I wrote Grandpa a letter, never sent it, never even printed it, just wrote it in a document on my computer, saved it, read it sometimes when I need to remember, when I need to process. "Dear Grandpa," it began, "you won. You were right about everything. Love is conditional. Family is transactional. Everyone has a price. Everyone has limits. Everyone will eventually choose themselves when the stakes are high enough. You proved it. We proved it. We became exactly what you predicted we'd become. Exactly what you wanted us to become, or maybe what you feared we already were. Hard to tell which. Did you enjoy it? Watching us destroy each other? Did you feel vindicated? Did you feel satisfied that your cynical view of human nature was correct? I hope not. I hope you felt sad. I hope you regretted it. I hope somewhere, wherever you are, you're watching us now and realizing the cost of being right, because yes, you proved your point, but you also destroyed your family, destroyed US, will never recover, never be whole, never be family again. Was that worth it? Was proving love is conditional worth losing the people who loved you? I don't know. I'll never know, but I know this. I won't do to my children what you did to us. If I have children, if I can learn to trust anyone enough to build a family after watching ours collapse, I'll teach them that love can be unconditional, that family doesn't have to be transactional, that there are things more valuable than winning, more important than money. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you'd laugh at me, call me naive, soft, weak. But I'd rather be wrong and kind than right and alone. I'd rather believe in unconditional love and be disappointed than prove it doesn't exist and lose everything. So I'm choosing to be better than what you made me, choosing to believe differently than you believed, choosing hope over cynicism, even if it makes me a fool. Better a fool with family than a genius alone. Rest in peace, Grandpa, or don't. I honestly don't care anymore. Emma. I read that letter once a month, sometimes more, sometimes less, depending on how I'm feeling, depending on whether I believe what I wrote or whether I'm just trying to convince myself, depending on whether I think I've actually become better or whether I'm just better at hiding how broken I am. Hard to tell sometimes. The line between growth and delusion is thinner than I'd like to admit. David I haven't heard from. No one has. Mum says he's in Thailand, living in Chiang Mai, small apartment, teaching English, living on maybe $30,000 a year despite having $30 million in accounts. He's changed his name apparently. Goes by something else. Started completely over, cut every tie, chose absolute separation over any connection. I think about him sometimes. Wonder if he's happy, if he's healed, if the distance helped or just delayed the inevitable reckoning, if running away solved anything or just postponed dealing with who he is. I hope he's happy. I really do. Hope money gave him what he needed. Hope Southeast Asia is far enough away from the family, from the expectations, from the judgment. Hope he found himself out there, or at least found peace with not knowing who he is. Linda is broke again, somehow. Burned through $26 million in 3 years. How? I don't know, don't want to know, but she's called me twice asking for loans. Called Richard, called Michael, called everyone asking for help because she's facing eviction, because the apartment she bought is too expensive, because she made bad investments, because she's drowning. Nobody's answered, nobody's helped. We're all done enabling Linda, done rescuing her from herself. She made choices. She burned money that could have lasted a lifetime. And now she faces the consequences of those choices alone. Is that cruel? Maybe. Probably. But we've all got our own damage to process, our own guilt to carry. We don't have capacity to save Linda from Linda. She'll figure it out, or she won't. Either way, it's not our responsibility anymore. We've paid enough, sacrificed enough, given enough. Linda's on her own. That might be the cruelest thing we've done, or the kindest. Hard to tell which. Richard is thriving. The Chen family office manages over $500 million now, employs 40 people, has offices in 3 cities. Richard Jr. is personally worth probably $50 million just from the business he built with trust money. He's successful, legitimately successful, built something real, something lasting, something that proves you can take Grandpa's money and make it grow. He sends Christmas cards every year, professional ones with family photos, him, his wife, his kids at their Hamptons house. He bought one eventually with his money. The cards say, from the Chen family, like we're still something, like the name still means something, like we're still connected. I don't know if we are. Don't know if business relationship and Christmas cards constitute family. Don't know if success redeems what we became to achieve it. Don't know if building an empire justifies destroying the people who made it possible. Richard seems to think so, seems to believe he's honoured Grandpa's legacy, built something Grandpa would be proud of. Maybe he's right. Maybe that's exactly what Grandpa wanted. Someone to take the money and multiply it, to be ruthless and strategic and successful at any cost, to value winning over everything else. If that's the metric, Richard won. Completely, definitively, forever. But I'm not sure winning was ever the point, or maybe it was entirely the point. Maybe the test was seeing who would win and how they'd justify it. Maybe we all passed by revealing exactly who we were. Maybe there was no right answer, just answers, just choices, just consequences we'd live with forever. Michael is doing well, I think. We text occasionally, short messages. How are you? Fine. You? Fine. Never more than that. Never deeper. We had lunch once, 6 months ago. Awkward lunch. Careful lunch. Polite lunch. He told me about his work, about the scholarships he's funding, about the free clinic he's helping establish, about using his money to help people he used to be, people drowning in debt, people sacrificing everything for education, people choosing purpose over profit and paying the price. He's doing good work, real work, work that matters. He seems not happy exactly, but purposeful, directed, like he's found meaning in making his windfall mean something. That's more than most of us managed, more than I've managed. I asked him once if he regretted any of it, any of the choices he made, any of the votes he cast. He thought for a long time. I regret not being strong enough to stop it, he finally said. I regret abstaining instead of fighting. I regret letting exhaustion make me complicit. I regret not being better, but I don't regret knowing, don't regret seeing what we were capable of. That knowledge, that awful, painful, devastating knowledge, that's worth something, even if it cost everything else. I think about that a lot, about whether knowing is worth the cost, about whether truth justifies destruction, about whether self-awareness is valuable when the self you're aware of is ugly. Still don't have answers, probably never will. Mum is, I don't actually know. She stopped responding to my messages about 2 years ago. Not angry messages, just silence, absence. I send her updates occasionally. Hope you're well. Thinking of you. Miss you. Nothing profound, just presence. Proof I'm still here, still her daughter, still capable of love, even if I showed I was equally capable of betrayal. She never responds. Maybe she reads them. Maybe she deletes them immediately. Maybe she's blocked my number and they never even arrive. I'll never know. That's my punishment, I think. Not knowing if I'm forgiven, not knowing if she still loves me, not knowing if someday, maybe when she's dying, maybe in her will, maybe never, she'll reach out and say, I understand, or I forgive you, or even just, I acknowledge you exist. The uncertainty is worse than rejection. Would be easier if she'd just say, I hate you, or I'm done, or you're dead to me. At least then I'd know. But the silence is torture. The silence says, you're not worth the energy of hatred. You're not worth the effort of rejection. You're just nothing. A daughter who stopped being daughter, a person who chose money over mom, a child who failed the only test that mattered. And maybe she's right. Maybe I am nothing. Maybe I am the person who values winning over loving. Maybe I am exactly what Grandpa said I was. Maybe knowing that, really knowing that, accepting that is the only way forward. Stop pretending I'm better. Stop hoping I'll be forgiven. Stop waiting for redemption. Just accept. I'm the person who chose money over family. That's who I am. That's what I did. That's the truth. And I have to live with it forever. That's the real inheritance, not the $11.7 million. The knowledge, the permanent, inescapable knowledge of who I became when tested. That's what Grandpa left me. That's what he wanted me to have. And I'll carry it until I die. That's the cost of winning or losing or whatever the hell I did. 5 years later. The reckoning? 5 years. 60 months. 1,825 days since Grandpa died and changed everything. Since the will was read and the game began. Since we started destroying each other for money we didn't need. I'm 40 now. Successful corporate attorney, partner at my firm, make $650,000 annually. Have $11.7 million in investment accounts growing steadily. I'm rich, wealthy, set for life. Could retire tomorrow and live comfortably forever. Could never work another day and be fine. I'm fine. That's what I tell people, my therapists, my colleagues, the dates who ask about my family. We're not close, but I'm fine. Fine is the lie I've perfected, the shield I hide behind, the word that means don't ask more questions, don't dig deeper, don't make me explain how I destroyed my family for money I barely think about. Fine, I'm fine, everything's fine. The foundation is thriving. Conditional Love Family Services has helped 847 families in 5 years, provided mediation services, therapy, education about estate planning, counselling about having difficult money conversations, teaching people how to avoid what we became. I'm good at it, really good at it, because I know every mistake intimately, know every rationalisation, know every justification, know exactly how people convince themselves that this request is reasonable, this objection is justified, this vote is necessary. I recognise the patterns because I lived them, performed them, perfected them. I can see families starting to fracture and I know exactly what comes next. Can predict with scary accuracy who will ask for what, who will object, who will break first, who will fight hardest, who will eventually buy out whom. It's like having a roadmap of destruction. I've walked this path, I know where it leads, and I try to show people before they get too far. Before they cross lines they can't uncross. Before they say things they can't unsay. Sometimes it works, sometimes families listen, sometimes they vote for equal distribution and walk away whole. Sometimes they choose connection over competition and years later send me thank you notes saying, "You saved us." Those notes keep me going, make the foundation meaningful, make my experience worth something beyond damage and guilt. But mostly, families don't listen. Mostly they think they're different. Their situation is special. Their family is more rational, more loving, more capable of handling the pressure. They think they won't become what we became, won't do what we did, won't choose money over each other. They're wrong, almost always wrong. They'll fight, they'll fracture, they'll discover that love has conditions and everyone has prices, and family is only unconditional until it costs too much. And afterward, months or years later, some of them come back, broken, guilty, ashamed, seeking therapy or mediation, or just someone who understands what they're going through. And I help them, not because I have answers, but because I have experience. Because I know what it's like to look at yourself and not recognise who you've become, to carry guilt that never quite fades, to wonder if winning was worth what it cost, to know that it wasn't, but be unable to undo what you've done. That's what I offer, not redemption, just recognition, acknowledgement, the understanding that comes from someone who's been there, who's done that, who carries the same weight. I saw Jennifer again last year, not accidentally this time. She reached out, asked if we could meet, said she had something to tell me. We met at a restaurant in Midtown, neutral territory. She looked different again, older, harder, but also more settled, like she'd made peace with something. We ordered, made small talk, avoided the real topic. Finally, over dessert, she said it, "I forgive you." Just like that, no preamble, no build-up, just, "I forgive you." I sat there, stunned, couldn't speak, couldn't process. For what? I finally asked. Stupid question. I knew for what. For all of it. For calling my concern, for Sarah manipulation, Jennifer said, for voting to reduce my request, for treating my daughter's future like a negotiation, for all of it. I forgive you. Why? I asked, voice breaking. Why now? Why ever? Because holding on to anger was exhausting, she said simply, because I was carrying resentment that was hurting me more than you, because Sarah asked about family, about aunts and uncles and cousins, and I realised I was teaching her that betrayal is unforgivable, that mistakes define people forever, that family is disposable when they hurt you. And I didn't want that to be her lesson, didn't want her to grow up thinking love is always conditional. So I'm forgiving you, not because you deserve it, not because what you did was okay, but because I deserve peace. I deserve to let this go, to move forward, to be more than what happened to me. I cried right there in the restaurant, actually sobbed, years of guilt and shame and self-hatred pouring out. Jennifer reached across the table, held my hand, let me cry without judgment, without rushing me, just held my hand while I broke. "I'm sorry," I said when I could speak. "I'm so sorry for what I did, for who I became, for how I hurt you and Sarah and everyone. I'm sorry." "I know," she said. "I believe you and I forgive you. That doesn't mean we're close again, doesn't mean we're a family the way we were, but it means I'm not angry anymore. I'm not carrying that. I'm putting it down. And maybe someday we can build something new, something different, something honest instead of what we pretended to be before, but that's future work. For now, I just wanted you to know you're forgiven. You can let it go too. We finished dinner, hugged goodbye, real hug this time, genuine, and I walked home feeling lighter, not fixed, not redeemed, but lighter, like I'd been carrying a backpack full of rocks and finally set one down, just one. Still carrying the others, but one less. That's something. That's not nothing. David resurfaced last year. Sent Mom an email. She forwarded it to me, the first communication I'd had from her in 3 years. Subject: I'm alive. Body: Mum, I know it's been 5 years. I know I disappeared. I know I left without real explanation or contact or anything resembling closure. I'm sorry for that, for worrying you, for making you wonder if I was okay. I'm okay. I'm in Thailand, Chiang Mai, small apartment, teaching English to kids, living simply. I spent almost all of the money, not on drugs or gambling or anything dramatic, just gave it away to people who needed it more than I did, built a school in a village that didn't have one, funded medical care for families who couldn't afford it, created scholarships for kids who wanted to study but couldn't pay, helped people, actually helped people. With money I took by threatening and manipulating my own family. Tried to make it mean something, tried to make it worth what it cost. I'm down to about $500,000 now. Living on that and my teaching salary, it's enough, more than enough. I'm happy, Mum. For the first time in my adult life, I'm actually happy. Not chasing success, not trying to prove anything, not competing with anyone, just living, teaching, helping, being useful in a way that's real instead of performative. I don't know if I'll ever come back. Don't know if I want to. The distance is good. The anonymity is good. Being just David the English teacher instead of David Chen the disappointing grandson is good. But I wanted you to know I'm okay. I'm alive. I'm sorry for everything, for the person I was, for what I did, for how I hurt everyone. I can't fix it, can't undo it, but I'm trying to be better, trying to use what's left to actually help people. That's all I can do. That's all any of us can do. Try to be better than what we were. I love you, Mom. I always did, even when I was destroying everything. I loved you. I hope you know that. David. Mom's forward to me had no message, just FYI, Susan. Not Mum anymore, just Susan. Like I was an acquaintance, someone she was keeping informed out of obligation rather than love. But she'd sent it. That meant something, meant she hadn't completely cut me off, meant there was still some thread connecting us. However thin, however frayed, I sent her a response. Thank you for sharing this. I'm glad David's okay. I'm glad he's finding peace. I hope you're finding it too. I miss you. I love you. I'm sorry. Emma. She didn't respond, but I didn't expect her to. Just needed to say it. Needed her to know. Needed the words to exist between us, even if she never acknowledged them. That's all I can do. Keep saying, I'm sorry and I love you, and hope that someday, maybe when she's dying, maybe never, she'll say something back. That's the punishment, the uncertainty, the wondering forever. Richard sent his annual Christmas card this year with a note. Emma, the Chen family office is considering going public. IPO projected for next year. Your investment position is now worth approximately 4.5 millimeters. You'll have opportunity to sell or hold at IPO. Thought you should know. Also, we should talk about family, about Mum, about whether there's anything we can do to fix what we broke. I know it's late. I know the damage is probably permanent, but I can't stop thinking. Grandpa wanted to teach us something, wanted us to learn from destroying each other. What if we haven't learned? What if we're supposed to do something with this knowledge? Build something, fix something, try something. Call me if you want to talk. No agenda, just talk. Richard. I haven't called, haven't responded. Don't know what I'd say. Don't know if Richard and I are capable of building anything together except wealth. Don't know if family is something we can reconstruct or if it's permanently destroyed. Don't know if trying would heal or just reopen wounds. Don't know anything except that the not knowing is exhausting, but also safer than knowing, safer than trying and failing, safer than hope followed by disappointment. So I stay in the not knowing, stay in the silence, stay in the careful distance that keeps me protected, but also keeps me alone. Linda died 6 months ago. Heart attack, sudden, she was 63, had burned through all her money, was living in a studio apartment in Queens, working retail at 63 because she'd spent $26 million in 7 years and had nothing left. The funeral was small, just a few people. Richard went, Michael went, I didn't. Couldn't face it, couldn't face the symbol of what the trust had done. Linda was the cautionary tale, the warning, the proof that money doesn't fix broken people, just gives them more resources to stay broken, to make bigger mistakes, to fail more expensively. She died alone, broke, estranged from everyone, and we'd let it happen. Had watched her spiral, had known she was burning through money, had known she'd end up destitute, and we'd done nothing because we were all done saving Linda, done enabling, done sacrificing our peace for her chaos. So we'd let her fail, let her suffer, let her die alone. Was that murder? Not legally, but morally, spiritually, I don't know. I carry that too, that guilt, that awareness that we could have helped and chose not to, that Linda's death is partially our fault. Not the heart attack, but the conditions that led to it, the stress, the poverty, the isolation. We created that, we chose that, and now she's dead. And we have to live with knowing we let it happen. Mum came to Linda's funeral. First time I'd seen her in 5 years. She looked older, smaller, tired. I tried to approach her, to talk to her, to say something. She looked at me, threw me, and walked away. Didn't say a word, didn't acknowledge me, just walked away like I was a stranger, like I was nothing. I stood there watching her leave and realised, this is it. This is how it ends. Not with reconciliation or forgiveness or even closure, just with absence. With a mother who looks at her daughters and sees someone not worth speaking to, someone who betrayed her so completely that even basic acknowledgement is too much. I'm dead to her, not literally, but functionally, emotionally, completely. And that knowledge that she's chosen to cut me off permanently should hurt, should destroy me. But mostly it just feels inevitable, like the natural conclusion to choices I made 5 years ago, like the consequence I've been waiting for. She's right to cut me off, right to walk away, right to decide I'm not worth her time or energy or love. I proved I wasn't worth it when I voted against her retirement request, when I objected to giving her the full amount she asked for, when I chose my potential payout over her security. I proved I didn't value her the way I should. And now she's treating me accordingly. Fair, logical, justified. That's what conditional love means. When you fail the conditions, you lose the love. I failed. I lost. That's how the game works. Grandpa taught me that, and Mum's enforcing the lesson. teaching me what I taught her. Love is transactional, and I've run out of currency. Last month I got a letter from a law firm in Hong Kong, certified mail, official documents. My stomach dropped when I saw it. What now? What else could the universe take? I opened it with shaking hands, read the cover letter 3 times trying to understand. Dear Ms. Chen, we represent the estate of Margaret Chen, née Liu, your paternal grandmother who passed away 6 months ago at age 87. Mrs. Chen left specific instructions regarding distribution of her estate among family members. Her estate is valued at approximately $300 million. She has established a trust structure similar to the one created by your grandfather, Richard Chen. However, with a crucial difference, this trust rewards cooperation instead of competition. Distribution amounts increase when family members work together, submit joint requests, support each other's needs, build consensus. Mrs. Chen believed her son Richard had designed a test that revealed your family's worst natures. She wishes to design a test that reveals your best. You have been designated as one of 6 heirs. Instructions attached. Please review and respond within 30 days. Sincerely, Wong and Associates, estate planning attorneys. Another trust, another game, another test, but this time designed to reward connection instead of punish it, to encourage cooperation instead of competition, to prove that maybe we could be better than what Grandpa revealed, that we could learn, could grow, could become something other than the selfish, calculating, conditional people we'd been. I sat with the letter 4 days, reading it, thinking about it, imagining what it would mean. Another year of family interaction, another series of requests and evaluations and decisions, another opportunity to hurt each other or heal each other, another chance to destroy what little remained or build something new, another game, but with different rules, different incentives, different possibilities. The question was, did I want to play? Did I want to risk more damage for the possibility of redemption? Did I want to test whether we'd learned anything, whether we'd changed, whether we were capable of being better? I thought about Jennifer's forgiveness, about David's email from Thailand, about Richard's invitation to talk, about Michael's purposeful work, about Mum's walking away, about Linda's lonely death, about 5 years of carrying guilt and shame and knowledge I couldn't unlearn, about the foundation and the families I'd helped and the ones I couldn't, about everything we'd lost and the very small things we'd found, and I made a decision. I took the letter, the invitation to Grandma's trust, the chance to play again, and I burned it in my kitchen sink, watched the paper curl and blacken, watched the opportunity turn to ash, made my choice. Some games you don't play twice, some lessons you don't need to relearn, some families can't be saved, even with $300 million, even with better rules, even with hope. We had our chance. We made our choices. We revealed who we are, and that's enough. Knowing is enough. I don't need to test whether we've changed. Don't need to risk finding out we haven't. Don't need more evidence that love is conditional or more opportunities to prove we can't pass the conditions. I'm done. Finished. The game is over, and I'm walking away. Not with the most money, not with the prize, not with victory, just with knowledge, just with truth, just with the permanent understanding of who I am when tested. That's the inheritance I'm keeping. That's what Grandpa left me, and I'm not letting Grandma take it. not letting anyone else use my family as laboratory rats, not letting another generation of Chens design tests and games and structures to prove philosophical points about human nature. We're not experiments. We're not lessons. We're just people, broken people, conditional people, people who loved and failed and hurt and tried and ultimately chose ourselves when it mattered. That's who we are, and I'm accepting it, not trying to redeem it, not trying to fix it, just accepting. This is who I became. This is what I did. This is the price I paid and the person I am because of it. And I'm done letting dead billionaires turn my life into their thesis statements. I'm done being proof of anything except my own flawed humanity. I'm just done. The trust is closed, the family is scattered, the love was conditional and we failed the conditions. That's the end. That's the truth. That's all there is. And somehow I'm learning to be okay with that, learning to carry the weight without being crushed by it, learning to live with who I am without hating myself completely, learning that maybe acceptance is enough. Maybe knowing is enough. Maybe survival is enough. That's what I've got. That's what I am. 5 years after Grandpa's game destroyed us, I'm a person who knows exactly what she's capable of, exactly how conditional her love is, exactly what her price is, and I'm choosing to be slightly better than that person, not much better, not redeemed, just slightly better. That's all I can offer. That's all anyone can offer. Incremental improvement on a fundamentally flawed foundation. That's the human condition. That's what Grandpa never understood. We're not good or bad. We're not generous or selfish. We're both. We're all of it. We're conditional and contradictory and complicated. And the best we can do is recognize that, accept it, and just try to be slightly better tomorrow than we were today. That's my work now. That's my purpose. Not redemption, just incremental improvement, one day at a time, one choice at a time, one small act of being slightly better than my worst self. It's not inspiring, it's not heroic, but it's honest. And after 5 years of living with the consequences of conditional love, honesty is all I have left. It's enough, it has to be. It's all there is. The final accounting, 10 years, a full decade since Grandpa died, since the will was read and the game began, since we started destroying each other for money that never fixed anything. I'm 45 now, still at the same law firm, still running the foundation, still single, still carrying the weight of what I did, what we all did. The money's still there. $11.7 million has grown to $18.3 million through Richard's family office management and my own conservative investing. I could live on that forever, could retire right now and never work again, could travel, could do anything, could do nothing. The money gives me options, freedom, security, everything Grandpa wanted us to have, everything he thought was worth destroying family to acquire. And he was wrong. It wasn't worth it. The money doesn't fix the emptiness, doesn't fill the hole where family used to be, doesn't make me less alone, just makes me comfortably alone, financially secure alone, independently alone. That's the great lie of money. It buys security but not connection, options but not purpose, freedom but not meaning. I have everything I thought I wanted, and it's not enough. It was never enough. Last week, something happened that changed everything, or changed nothing. Hard to tell which. I got a call from a hospital in California. A nurse, professional voice, careful words. Miss Chen, this is Providence St. Joseph Medical Center in Burbank. Your mother, Susan Chen, was admitted 3 days ago. She listed you as emergency contact. My heart stopped, actually stopped. She's stable, the nurse said quickly. She had a stroke, relatively minor, but she's asking for family. She'd like to see you, if you're able to come. Able to come, like it was a question of logistics rather than emotional impossibility. Like showing up to see the mother I hadn't spoken to in 8 years was simply a matter of booking a flight. I'll be there tomorrow, I said. Booked the next flight out. Arrived at the hospital 12 hours later. Exhausted, terrified, uncertain. Walked into her room with my heart pounding, not knowing what to expect, not knowing if she'd want me there or if the nurse had misunderstood, not knowing anything. Mum was awake, sitting up in bed, smaller than I remembered, thinner, older, but alert, aware. She saw me and her expression didn't change, didn't soften, didn't harden, just recognition, acknowledgement. "Emma," she said, voice weak but clear, "you came." "Of course I came," I said, sitting in the chair beside her bed, not touching her, not knowing if I was allowed. "You're my mother." "Am I?" she asked, not cruelly, just questioning. "After everything, after 10 years, am I still your mother? Are you still my daughter? Or are we just people who share DNA and a terrible history?" I didn't know how to answer. Didn't know what would be true versus what would be comforting versus what she wanted to hear. "I don't know," I finally said, "but I'm here. That has to mean something." She nodded slowly. "The nurse said you'd come." I didn't believe her. Thought you'd ignore the call. Thought I'd used up all my chances with you. But you came. You're here. "Did you want me here?" I asked, or did they just call me because I was listed? "I wanted you here," she said. "I've wanted to talk to you for years, wanted to reach out, wanted to say things, but I didn't know how, didn't know if I could forgive you enough to try, didn't know if you wanted to be forgiven or if you were content living with what you'd done, so I stayed away, stayed silent, stayed safe. But now I'm 75. I had a stroke and I realised I don't have forever to figure this out, don't have unlimited time to wait for the perfect moment or the perfect words. I either say it now or never say it. So I asked them to call you, to give me one more chance, to see if there was anything left to save. "What do you want to say?" I asked, voice shaken. That I forgive you," she said simply, "for voting against my retirement, for treating my needs as negotiable, for choosing money over me. I forgive you, not because you've earned it, not because time has healed it, but because carrying unforgiveness is exhausting, because I'm old and tired and I want peace, because you're my daughter and I love you even when I hate what you did. Conditional love is still love." Maybe that's what Richard was trying to teach us. That love can be conditional and real simultaneously, that we can disappoint each other and still matter to each other, that family can be broken and still be family. I cried. Couldn't help it. 10 years of guilt pouring out. "I'm so sorry, Mom. I'm so sorry for everything, for who I became, for what I chose, for hurting you. I'd take it back if I could. I'd vote differently. I'd be different. But I can't. I can't undo it. Can't fix it. Can only carry it and try to be better and hope that's enough." "It's enough," she said, reaching for my hand, taking it, holding it for the first time in a decade. "It's not redemption. It's not fixing what broke, but it's enough. You're enough. Flawed and guilty and broken and enough. That's what I wanted you to know. That's what I needed to say before I died." "You're not dying," I said. The nurse said, minor stroke, you'll be fine. I'm 75, she said. I had a stroke. I won't be fine forever. None of us will. And I needed you to know, while there's still time, that you're forgiven, you're loved, you're still my daughter. Even after everything, even knowing what I know, you're still mine, and I'm still yours, if you want me to be. We sat there holding hands, crying together, not fixing anything, not erasing the past, just acknowledging we're both flawed, both conditional, both capable of hurt and healing simultaneously, both human. That's all we are. That's all anyone is. And maybe that's enough. Maybe it has to be. I stayed in California for 2 weeks, helped Mum recover, set up home care, made sure she was safe. We talked, really talked, about the trust, about Grandpa, about what we'd all become, about guilt and forgiveness, and whether redemption is possible or if acceptance is the best we can hope for, about David in Thailand and Linda's death and Richard's success and Jennifer's peace and Michael's purpose, about the family we were and the strangers we became, and whether there's any path back. We didn't solve anything, didn't fix anything, but we talked honestly, without calculation, without strategy, just two people who used to be mother and daughter trying to figure out if they could be something again. If not that, then something. Some relationship that acknowledged the past without being destroyed by it. Before I left, Mum gave me something, an envelope. Richard left this, she said. Grandpa, he left letters for all of us. You got yours at the beginning. This one was separate, marked, to be delivered when they understand. Martin gave it to me 5 years ago, said I'd know when you understood. I think you understand now, so here. I opened it sitting in Mum's living room. Grandpa's handwriting, one final message. Emma, it began, if you're reading this, enough time has passed that you understand what I did, what the trust was really about. It wasn't about money. It was never about money. It was about truth, about forcing you to see who you really are when the comfortable lies fall away, when the pretense dissolves, when you have to choose between self-interest and sacrifice. Everyone thinks they're good. Everyone believes they choose family over money. Everyone claims love is unconditional, but they've never been tested, never been forced to choose, never been put in a situation where being good costs something real. I tested you, all of you, and you failed, exactly as I predicted. You chose money. You chose yourselves. You destroyed each other for distributions you didn't need, and that failure, that revelation of your true conditional nature, that was the gift. Not the money, the knowledge, knowing who you are when tested, knowing your limits, knowing your price. That's more valuable than any inheritance, because now you can't lie to yourself anymore, can't pretend you're better than you are, can't claim you'd sacrifice for family when you've proven you won't. You know, and that knowledge, that brutal, honest, devastating knowledge is what I wanted to leave you. Not comfort, not security, truth. The rest of your life you'll make choices knowing what you're capable of, knowing how conditional your love is, knowing that you're not the hero of your own story. You're just human, flawed, limited, conditional. And maybe that awareness will make you try harder, will make you question your motives, will make you examine your choices more carefully, will make you work to be better than your default self. Or maybe it won't. Maybe you'll just be what you've always been, but at least you'll know, at least you'll be honest, at least you'll stop pretending. Here's what I learned in 83 years, Emma. Everyone is conditional. Everyone has prices. Everyone chooses themselves when stakes are high enough. The difference between good people and bad people isn't that good people don't have conditions. It's that good people fight their conditions, recognise them, push against them, choose to be better than their instincts, not because it's easy, because it's hard. Because knowing you're capable of selfishness makes you work harder to be generous. Knowing you're capable of cruelty makes you work harder to be kind. Knowing you're conditional makes you work harder to be unconditional. That's the work. That's the test, not the trust, not the money. The daily choice to be slightly better than who you'd be if you stopped trying. I don't know if you'll do that work, don't know if any of you will, but I've given you the gift of knowing you need to, the gift of self-awareness, the gift of truth. Use it well or don't. Either way, you'll know what you're choosing. That's all I can offer. That's all anyone can offer. The truth about yourself, the rest is up to you. I loved you, Emma. Conditionally, yes, but genuinely, my love had requirements, had standards, had conditions, but within those conditions, it was real. And I desperately hope that knowing your love is conditional too doesn't stop you from loving, from trying, from being human in all its messy, complicated, limited glory. Be conditional, but be aware. Be flawed, but be honest. Be human, but be trying. That's enough. That's all there is. Grandpa, I read it 3 times, then put it away, carried it home with me, back to New York, back to my life, back to my work, and I thought about it, about Grandpa's final message, about whether he'd given us a gift or a curse, about whether knowing our conditions made us better or just more aware of being broken. I still don't have answers, probably never will, but I'm trying, daily, hourly, trying to be slightly better than my conditional default, trying to question my motives, trying to recognise when I'm being strategic versus genuine, trying to choose generosity even when selfishness is easier, trying to love unconditionally even though I know I'm capable of conditions. It's exhausting work, hard work, work that never ends because you don't win at being better. You just keep trying, keep choosing, keep working against your worst self forever. That's what Grandpa left me. Not money, not security, not comfort. Work. The endless work of trying to be better than what I am, of fighting my conditional nature, of choosing love even when love costs something, of being human in the fullest, most difficult, most honest sense. That's the inheritance. That's what remains after the money's spent and the family's scattered and the game is long over. Just the work, just the choice, just the daily decision to try. And some days I succeed. Some days I choose generosity, choose connection, choose being better than my default. And some days I fail. Choose selfishness, choose safety, choose being exactly what Grandpa predicted. But I'm aware now. I'm conscious of the choice. I'm not sleepwalking through my conditional nature anymore. I'm seeing it, fighting it, working against it. That's different than I was before. Different than I'd be if the trust hadn't happened. Different than I'd be if I didn't know. And maybe that difference is worth what it cost. Maybe awareness is valuable even when it's painful. Maybe truth matters even when it destroys. Maybe knowing who you are is worth the price of discovering you're not who you hoped. I don't know, still don't know, probably never will, but I'm living with it. Living with the knowledge, living with the guilt, living with the work of trying to be better. That's all I can do. That's all anyone can do. Try, choose, work every day, forever, until we die, and someone else has to figure out what we left them, what lessons, what wounds, what truths. Final accounting. 10 years later, the money. Emma Chen, 18.3 mem, grew from 11.7 mouse through investments. Richard Chen Jr., 180 me plus trust distribution plus family office value. Michael Chen, 67 li, trust distribution plus investments plus foundation endowment. Jennifer Martinez, 52 mf trust distribution plus conservative growth. David Chen, 500k, gave away 29.5 met, living on remainder in Thailand. Linda Chen, zeros, died broke after spending 26 sum in 7 years. Susan Chen, mom, 6.8 pum, trust distribution plus growth. The relationships, Mom and Emma reconciled after 8 years of silence, fragile but real. Jennifer forgave Emma, limited contact, living peacefully in Vermont. David, alive in Thailand, teaching, no contact with family except occasional emails to Mom. Richard and Michael, business partners, cordial but not close. Linda, dead at 63, alone, broke, estranged from everyone, the family, scattered, damaged, occasionally in contact, never whole. The truth, Grandpa was right. Love is conditional, family is transactional, everyone has prices, scarcity reveals character, and the revelation of that truth destroyed them. But knowing the truth also gave them choice, gave them awareness, gave them the opportunity to be better than their conditional natures. Some took that opportunity, some didn't. Most are still trying. The lesson, it's not that conditional love is wrong, it's that unconscious conditional love is destructive. When you don't know your conditions, you can't work against them, can't choose to be better, can't fight your instincts. Grandpa forced them to know their conditions, to see their prices, to understand their limits, and that knowledge, painful as it was, gave them the ability to choose. Some chose to keep being conditional. Some chose to work against it. Some chose something in between, but they all chose consciously, honestly, aware. That's the gift. Not the money, the choice, the awareness, the ability to be deliberately better than their defaults. That's what remains when everything else falls away. Epilogue. Emma's final reflection. I'm writing this 10 years after Grandpa died, 10 years after the trust destroyed and rebuilt and destroyed us again. I'm 45 years old, successful, wealthy, alone, and I'm okay with that. Not happy, exactly, but okay. I've learned to be okay with being imperfect, with being conditional, with being human in all its messy, limited, flawed reality. I run a foundation that helps families avoid what we became. I've helped hundreds of people, thousands maybe, given them tools and knowledge and warnings and hope. Some listen, most don't, but I keep trying because that's the work. That's what Grandpa left me, not money, not answers, just work. The endless work of being slightly better than my worst self. The money's still there, growing, compounding, meaningless except as security, as options, as freedom I rarely use. I could do anything, go anywhere, be anyone. And mostly, I just work, try to help, try to be useful, try to make the experience mean something beyond destruction. That's not redemption, not fixing what broke, just incremental improvement on a fundamentally flawed foundation. That's all I've got, that's all anyone has. Mum's okay, we talk weekly now. Careful conversations, loving conversations, honest conversations. We'll never be what we were, can't undo what happened, can't erase the votes and the choices and the hurt, but we're something real, something worth maintaining. That's enough. Jennifer sends Christmas cards, photos of Sarah, 16 now, happy, well-adjusted despite everything. Jennifer's remarried, living peacefully. She's forgiven me, but we're not close, won't ever be close. But we're not enemies, that's something. Michael's doing good work, using his money well, making it mean something. We have lunch occasionally, talk about our work, avoid talking about the past. It's easier that way, safer, less painful. David's still in Thailand, still teaching, still living simply, still trying to make the money he took mean something through giving it away. I respect that more than I respect Richard's empire or my own financial security. David's actually trying to make it right, even if it's impossible, even if giving away money can't undo taking it. He's trying. That's worth something. Richard's successful, really successful, built an empire, made his millions into hundreds of millions. He sends updates, invitations to invest, opportunities to participate. I always decline. Don't want to be part of whatever he's building. Don't want more money. Don't want to keep playing. He's found his peace in success. Good for him. It's not my path, but it's a path, and Linda's dead. That's the truth I carry. She died alone and broke and estranged, and we let it happen. That's on all of us. That's our collective failure, our shared guilt. We could have helped, could have intervened, could have saved her from herself, and we chose not to. Chose peace over responsibility, chose distance over difficulty, chose ourselves again, always still. That's who we are, what we do, how we love, conditionally, with limits, with prices. That's the truth, the permanent truth, the truth that doesn't change just because we're aware of it. But awareness matters, choice matters, trying matters. And I'm trying every day, every interaction, every decision. I'm trying to be slightly better than my conditional nature, to choose generosity over selfishness, to value connection over security, to love unconditionally, even though I know I'm fundamentally conditional. That's the work. That's the inheritance. That's what Grandpa left me. Not money, not security, not comfort, just work. Endless work. Work that never stops. Work that's never done. Work that's exhausting and difficult and necessary. The work of being human, the work of being aware, the work of choosing to be better than what you'd be if you stopped trying. 10 years later, I'm still trying, still choosing, still working, and some days that feels like enough. Some days it feels like victory, just to recognise when I'm being selfish and choose differently, just to see my conditions and push against them, just to be aware. Other days it feels hopeless, like knowing I'm conditional doesn't actually make me less conditional. Like awareness without transformation is just sophisticated selfishness. Like I'm still exactly what Grandpa said I was, just more articulate about it. I don't know which is true, probably both, probably neither. Probably it's complicated and messy and there are no clean answers. That's what being human is. Complicated, messy, conditional, trying, failing, trying again, forever until you die. That's all there is. That's what I learned. That's what the trust taught me. Love is conditional, but conditional love is still love. Family is transactional, but transactions can be generous. Everyone has prices, but you can choose not to sell. Everyone has limits, but you can push against them. You can know who you are and work to be better. You can be flawed and aware. You can be conditional and trying. You can be human, limited, broken, imperfect, and still choose kindness, still choose generosity, still choose love. That's what Grandpa wanted me to learn, I think. Maybe. I'll never know for sure. But that's what I'm choosing to believe. That's the meaning I'm making from the destruction. That awareness matters. That choice matters. That trying matters. Even when you fail, even when you're conditional, even when you're broken, you can still try, still choose, still work to be better. That's enough. That has to be enough. It's all there is. The end. 10 years after Richard Chen's trust destroyed his family, they're scattered across continents, some reconciled, some estranged, all forever changed. The money's gone, spent, invested, given away, grown, but the knowledge remains. The permanent understanding of who they are when tested, that's the real inheritance, not the millions. The truth, brutal, honest, unavoidable truth, and the work, the endless work of being slightly better than that truth suggests. Some are doing the work, some aren't. Most are trying. That's all anyone can do. Try, choose, work until the end. That's conditional love. That's family. That's being human, limited, flawed, aware, trying forever.